All right, what I have here is the gizmos open on the left with a split screen and just some blank Notability paper on the right. I want to give you just some tips for this. We want you to explore, and it takes a little bit just to get comfortable with the gizmo. But you use this little thing by the handle to fill up the water. You can fill some water into this beaker, and you could read the beaker if you want. It's a little bit hard to see. And beakers aren't as accurate, so we're not going to practice as much with that. But fill it and put it to the side, and then you can take these different graduated cylinders and fill them. And we want to explore by just fill different amounts and use this magnifying glass to see it clearly, and then try to read the amount that's in there. So here's where I would need to first figure out the smallest increment. So I'm going to subtract 2 marks, divide by steps. So subtracting 2 marks means to take 2 lines that have a number and subtract them. So 15 minus 10 would work, and that equals 5. And then divide by steps. So I'm going to take the 5 I just figured out and divide it by the number of steps that are in between there. And I need to count really carefully the spaces. So I count starting at the 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 5 divided by 10. Now don't take the easy way out and always assume it's going to be like 10 divided by 5. This is 5 divided by 10, so that comes to 0.5. The increment is 0.5. Now I find the water line and I read the bottom of the meniscus. I go down until I see a number that's labeled, or a line that's labeled. It says 10. And then I'm going to count up by 0.5 for each jump that I make, each step. So 10, 10.5, 11, 11.5, 12, 12.5. It looks like the meniscus is pretty much right on that line. It's kind of a shorter line. The bottom of the meniscus is about at 12.5. It might be 12.51 or something like that, but I'm just going to say 12.5 for that line, and then I'm going to add an O to show that it's right on the line. So we would all agree that it's at least 12.5. That's what we're certain about. And then we have 1 digit that we estimate. So just practice that way for a while with different tools, with different values. Just fill them up, whatever, and then read it. Fill it up a little more and read it again. Just practice that way for a while. If you want to pour it out, just bring it to the sink and then you can start again. But now the next thing we want you to practice is, what if we said, I want you to measure 41.0 milliliters of water. Exactly. 41.0. So then you're going to fill it up almost to that point. So I'm going up to 40 or so, or just under maybe. And then I'm going to use this little pipette. And that's where my beaker comes in. I fill my pipette from my beaker, and then I can add just small amounts of water to get it to 41. And here again, I need to figure out what is the smallest increment so I know how far up to go. So I'm going to clear some space over here. And I see subtract 2 marks, 40 minus 30. I'm going to move this. Yeah, 40 minus 30. I can do any 2 marks that have lines that are marked. 40 minus 30 equals 10. And then divide by steps. I think I can see the steps better this way. So I'm counting the number of spaces or small increments between the 30 and the 40. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I take the 10 I got here, 40 minus 30 is 10, and I divide it by 10. And that's 1. So this increment is 1. Maybe some of you figured that out by trial and error. So now if I want to measure 41.0 exactly, I'm adding by tapping on the pipette. Now that looks like 40 or a little bit more than 40, so 40.5 maybe. Going up toward 41. Oops, I ran out of water in my pipette. Fill it again. And this is the part that it's a little bit picky sometimes. So you'll just, as you practice, you'll get better at it. I haven't practiced that much myself with it. There, now the bottom, the meniscus, the bottom of the curve is right on the 41 line. So I would call that 41.0 milliliters. If I just say 41, that's okay, but it doesn't tell somebody whether it's right on the line like that, or maybe it could be like, if it says 41, it could be just a little above the line, like you could round it. But we want to say clearly that we know from this tool exactly how much is in there. And now I put it 42. Now there's no way to get a little bit out. You have to just dump it. So to get back to 41, I'd have to do that. All right, I hope that you will give yourself time to get comfortable with this. Try a lot of practice with both of those things that I just described. And then at the end, we want you to fill one of these cylinders to 12.4 and then take a screenshot.